Hello, everyone. Super excited to be part of the Envision and great to see you all again. It's been a truly pioneering conference around how the future of technology is evolving for enterprises. Today, I'm going to talk about why the future of business interactions is so important to all of us, and which is core of the building of Yellow AI, and kind of set a stage for the upcoming sessions on talking about several aspects of future of business interactions. If you see the evolution of the business history over the last several centuries, the businesses have moved from barter system to people writing notes, to telephony, to online, to mobile. And there have been several revolutions across the industry, industrial revolution, technology revolution, etc. But what absolutely remained fundamental to business has been the quality of interaction between a business and their consumers and employees. And every single innovation that has come in place has either deepened the quality of those interactions or expanded the reach of the interactions. For the first time, telephony expanded the reach in terms of businesses being able to reach out to users that are further along. Online helped businesses to clearly reach a large section of audience across the world, both visually and through voice and through text. But what is right now changing across the digital world is that now consumers are interacting with businesses on several channels, right? From text messaging, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, and the expectation of the end consumers is rapidly evolving, with them expecting real-time response from their enterprises, real-time fulfillment, and on channels that they are on and the languages that they speak with. So this is a tremendous challenge for the enterprises across the world. And this challenge is similar or kind of applicable to a vendor, a small business right across the street, where they are handling customers one by one, to a very large enterprise that is interacting with consumers at scale. And every single of this interaction, right from a marketing message or a marketing campaign to the purchase journey, to the customer support journey, and potentially the entire retention journey, are moments of either trust or moments that we break that trust, right? Moments of creating an impact or moments of losing trust. And every single of this customer business interaction is paramount for customer-centric and flourishing businesses to drive with utmost personalization, delight, fulfillment, and impact for the end customers. We as a company, right from 2016 when we started, our vision has been to make every single interaction between businesses and consumers to be the most delightful, impactful, and fulfilling for both the consumer and the enterprise. And we believe by enabling that, we are making an impact in the overall global GDP and absolutely making businesses more profitable, making businesses increase their line of revenues. All our business models and all our product investments and the kind of people we hired as a company have fully aligned to that vision, be it an outcome-based consumption model to one of the largest customer success teams in the industry out there. We have made investments at every single point of time to make every single interaction the best possible. We made terrific progress, but there's a lot of progress to be made. We are probably 2 to 5% of what we really want to be. And there are great things churning out every single quarter in driving towards that direction. At this point of time today, while the technology conversational AI has been demonstrating significant impact in helping enterprises craft these interactions with customers and employees, interaction by interaction, a lot of enterprises are still grappling and wondering about what are the best use cases, what are the best channels, what is the right framework in deploying conversational AI to get the best ROI and the fastest ROI that's possible. There have been several examples of companies who have turned around great transformation with conversational AI as centerpiece, but there's been examples of organizations who had a few pitfalls along the journey. Over today, we're really looking at the sessions that are following this, uncover the technology breakthroughs that we have in the conversational AI space, and some of the leading pioneers who have seen this revolution firsthand talk about the different scenarios, the frameworks of how conversational AI is really transforming the future of business interaction. To start off with, I'm super excited to invite and welcome a wonderful panel that's going to kickstart this, talking about how in 3 different industries and from 3 different angles, how future of business interactions is being transformed using artificial intelligence. So I'm delighted to invite Siddharth Mukherjee. He is the Chief Digital Officer of Teleperformance, and he personally and along with his team have consulted several Fortune 500 transformations, especially in customer interaction space. And he has a first-hand view of how the world is adopting AI for driving customer interactions.
Thank you so much, Raghu, for inviting me to the panel.
Thank you very much. Welcome, Siddharth. We also have Utpal Chakrabarti. He is the Chief Digital Officer of Allied Corporation, and he has been a known AI expert, and he has consulted several organizations on the deployment of artificial intelligence. And I'm super delighted to have him as a part of the panel out here. Welcome, Utpal.
Thank you. Thank you.
We also have, from a different perspective, Rami Shaheen. He's been advisor for artificial intelligence driver's license, and he's one of the pioneers of AI in Middle East market, where he has consulted and been an advisor to several government organizations and also a lot of conglomerates in Middle East. So it will be super exciting to get his views as well. So welcome to the panel, Rami.
Thanks for such a fantastic invitation. Thanks, Dia.
Thank you very much. So we will not waste any time in kickstarting the panel discussion, and I'm going to pose the first question, which is, all 3 of you and potentially a lot of our audience have seen over the last 3-4 years several disruptions in their business, be it we have been fully unprepared for COVID. Now that's followed with a huge deluge of liquidity, followed by a really high cost of capital environment. And companies have had to adapt to these changes almost instantly. None of them came with any big warning, right? What looks like is constant is this constant change and challenging business environments. In this scenario, brands and enterprises need to adapt themselves really quickly and use technology to make them future ready. And a lot of it is with their communication and interactions with their end customers. So the question I have for all of you will go one by one is that what you saw as fundamental for companies that have adapted well, and what do you think that the current brands and enterprises can do right now to ensure that they're future-proof their business by deploying artificial intelligence in their interaction with end customers and employees? We'll start with Siddharth.
Sure, Raghu. I think great question to set the context. Industry analysts were calling this whole trend of digital transformation as Industry 4.0 or Industrial Revolution 4.0, right? A few years ago, I think the World Economic Forum came up with that term. And I think COVID has only accelerated the pace of that transformation that we are seeing in all forms of digital transformation, how it manifests across industries, across value chains. We as consumers are seeing more and more digital all around us, more and more AI. And that's something that is really here to stay for the long term. And I think that's the secret sauce to your question in terms of future proofing. For the future, how do we future-proof our business interactions? I think there's got to be a huge component of digital and a huge component of AI, going forward in all our business models, in how we as end consumers interact with the brands and the companies. We are used to using more and more of the Alexas and Siris and, all kinds of virtual assistants. We're using Google Maps to travel from one point to another point every day. So I think, as human beings, we've gotten comfortable, living and using AI in our lives every day. And I think enterprises also see that. And there's a huge need and urgency, especially for the old economy companies, to adopt digital across their value chain. And I think that's going to be absolutely critical for the gap between the winners and the other sort of people in the competition. The guys who are way ahead today are the guys who have successfully pivoted towards digital, whereas the guys who are lagging behind haven't. So I think it's very important. Also, as a complete new economy has emerged, right, over the last 15, 20 years, with e-commerce disrupting retail, with fintechs disrupting banks, and so on and so forth, it's all the more important for legacy institutions that have been around a long time to adopt digital in a far more comprehensive way. I think that's the only way going forward, Raghu.
Thank you very much, Siddharth. Maybe I'll ask Utpal the same question. He would have seen firsthand at their company and at several companies that he works with.
Yeah, right. Thank you, Raghu. So I think I can talk about a little bit on the financial sector side, because at that point of time when the pandemic started, I was with a bank. Like at that point of time, it was the 5th largest private sector bank in India. And basically, if you look at this banks and financial institutions, so one of the challenges that they have faced at that point of time is how to deliver the products to their customer, products and services to their customers in a digital, through digital means and digital channels, right? Because many of the products, banking products, if you look at, are still being delivered in a physical mode, right? So the challenge is like how to convert those products into digital product. And second thing was how to render those products into different digital channels. So that channels could be your mobile banking, your chatbot, your WhatsApp banking, or any other social banking like in the Facebook Messenger or something like that. So, but banks fortunately has been able to adapt that very quickly. And I've seen many of the Indian banks during the pandemic itself, although they had some communication channels with their customers But those were mostly what do you call, giving some kind of information, right? So Q&As or FAQs kind of thing. But that is not the business, right? Those are just informations. But to render the actual banking transactions, so probably it is banking services or credit card services or loan or deposit services into a channel. And I think the best channel they thought is probably a conversational kind of a channel, right? Because these are lightweight channels, can be rendered anywhere where the users are available. And they have been able to transform the entire thing. I would not say the entire thing, but at least a large portion of their business and large portion of their offerings, basically services and products, through these digital channels. So that's the power of these digital channels. Like even during a time when there was complete lockdown, people were not being able to go to any places, but they were being able to enjoy the banking services sitting at their home in any channels, basically. So that is also, I mean, it is not only one channel. So for example, if mobile banking fails, okay, you have got the chatbot available. If your chatbot even fails, then you have got WhatsApp banking, right? So if that is also failing, you have got in Facebook Messenger. So ultimately, these are basically conversational engines working in the background, and banks and insurance companies also. I mean, they have been able to actually deliver these services in a seamless manner to the customers during the pandemic. And this is, I think, a great learning. And I think probably many of the industries, they can learn that, because banking services, as you know, like everyone requires banking services. So probably other services, they can wait for something, but banking services are, and so such a critical services, rendering them so quickly within, say, probably a fortnight's time, and giving it to customers for some of the banks is like great.
Fantastic. Great to hear a real life story there, Utpal. And I clearly remember how Yes Bank has transitioned through the journey and kind of visible outside. So great to hear that. Rami, you would have any views on it, and you would have seen it firsthand in the Middle East region as well. And that's one of the regions where I think whenever I travel there to Dubai and Abu Dhabi, I just see the depth of technology just being adopted to manage COVID, which has been, I think, the best I have seen in the world. So I just wanted to hear from you your views on how you saw firsthand organizations there adapted, and what's been the impact, and what's your recommendations there are.
Yeah. Basically, you talked about a few points that can define many things into the mindset on how the government itself think about the transformation, and how the small medium enterprise think about it as well, and the big enterprises they are going on the same path in developing a proper or what we call it effective transformation. So when we worked with the decision maker and policy makers in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, we thought about taking the organization into another level of what we call it the virtual pillar of the golden triangle, which is the physical, digital, and virtual pillar. We said we need to have a proper massive purpose that will drive the whole economy to a new level. So we started with identifying the exponential growth that will be led by AI, and we call it the future management tools, which is the blockchain, IoT or digital twinning, the autonomous objects, the 3D printing, smart big data, AI, and metaverse. Then we start cascading down the methodology to reach all levels and all kind of people. So we said we need to build certain things. We start by the positive, what we call it the positive citizenship, and we define positive citizenship as the people who are able to implement and utilize AI and the future management tools in their daily routine jobs. Then we start thinking about enhancing and optimizing the maturity and readiness for different industries and different clusters around the landscape of the country transformation. So we start implementing the AMA, Artificial Intelligence Maturity Assessment, for each and every industry, and we start building the transformation into 3 layers. And by the way, dear, we need to know that 7 out of 10 initiatives for transformation usually flopped out. Why? Because we only take the transformation into operational level only. And that's what we learned the hard way in Dubai. We spend a lot of money basically to learn this aspect, isn't it? So we start taking into consideration that any transformation using any tool that will take a place in any industry needs to be on a strategic level, tactical level, and operational level. And we build something called the value chain map for each and every industry. We start implementing the value chain map. So maybe one of the lads will come to me and say, we have the best conversational chatbot, or we have the best hyper intelligence tool in the world. We say, okay, chill, guy, we'll check it according to our value chain map. And this is, by the way, the secret of how we are taking decisions, not only in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. We implemented the same technique in NEOM. We implemented the same technique in the line. We implement the same thing with Estonia government to deliver the project Human 2.0 and Cash 2.0. And we are doing the same now with the Egyptian army and Jordanian Investment Authority. So it become a systematic approach that drive the country, not only the industries, into a real comparative advantage with a critical study to the business model required. And this is the secret, or the secret recipe for our success in Dubai and Abu Dhabi.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Rami. And just summarizing from what Siddharth, Paul, and Rami talked about, what we can have as takeaways is clearly one for organizations to be agile and be adaptable to change. I think getting to digital or adopting AI just ramps up the agility quotient of the companies. Without that, you can't be agile with offline, physical, non-AI kind of environment. That's like an absolute given. And the second is, I think the way that you want to implement this has to be at a multiple levels. It has to be the strategic initiative for the company, backed up by very strong execution layer that kind of trickles down to the point where the rubber hits the road. It's just like, looks like these are the key takeaways from this question and answers that the panel has. So now my question is a little bit more technical, and it's for you, Utpal. A lot about it's talked about AI being unpredictable, and a lot of times you don't know how it works, and there are biases, etc. What do you think is the role of explainable AI, and is that a new breakthrough in technology that can bring more trust into the AI deployments? And also, like, please talk about if there are any other technology breakthroughs that you're seeing that can take the level of the interactions that business is having with their customers are going to be supercharged with.
Absolutely. I think brilliant question, Raghu. So that is the challenge. Basically, now every data scientist or every AI initiative is facing from the internal stakeholders as well as from the customers. So again, if you go back to our example with the financial industry, so whenever you are building any AI model, so probably let's take the example of the risk analytics, right? So credit risk assessment kind of a use case. So wherein you actually find out the risks associated with giving any kind of financial aid or credit to an individual or to an entity, right? So, and if your model comes up with some kind of a prediction, right? Now, so a couple of years back, even the people were happy with considering AI models as black boxes, right? Because those questions were not being asked at least a couple of years back, 5, 7, 10 years back. But now people have started asking questions like, when you come up with a prediction, okay, what is the basis of that? Okay, or what are the parameters that has been taken into consideration while giving that kind of a prediction, right? And that's where the explainable AI comes into picture. So, basically, you can now explain that if my model is giving this kind of a prediction, then these are the core features, okay, or the strong features which are contributing to this particular decision making or prediction, right? So, and this is now very common, at least in banking industry and in other industry also. The same goes for even one of the projects that I have done for real estate project, okay, and where we have been doing some appreciation analytics for different properties, right? Real estate properties. And the question, when we come up with the analytics, the question, initial question, when we have been showing it to the builders and other stakeholders, the first question came that how you have come up with this kind of appreciation analytics or prediction kind of thing. So, so now, I mean, technically look at, so there are two ways to do that. One is, of course, you can build your model so that it is explainable. Okay, so that is called basically explainable by design. But there are a lot of AI models has already been built, right? So how to explain that? So for that also we have got techniques wherein we can actually get some idea that when the model is giving some kind of a prediction, then what are the things that are playing a crucial role, or what are the things that are contributing to that kind of a decision making. Now coming to your other part of the question, like bias. So this is a very big problem in the AI area, as you know. Like if my model is biased, okay, and mostly the bias comes from the data itself when we train that model. So my model could be a gender bias, it could be a bias on the basis of caste, creed, community, socioeconomic status, and anything, right? So so how to overcome that? Okay, so I think these two things, like how to eliminate the bias part of it and how to explain your whatever prediction you are doing with your model is now part of customer satisfaction. Okay, because if your customer is not at all aware of the nitty-gritties of what prediction you are doing, okay, then I think this is also a hindrance to your customer experience. So, but if you can at least explain them in a rational way, that whatever you are doing is on the basis of these data points kind of thing, that actually enhances the customer experience. So these two things are very, very important, Raghu, at least if you look at today, because today nobody wants to accept AI algorithms as a black box. They want the insights of the interior.
Absolutely. That's a great answer, Utpal. And now I'll have my question to Rami. And I think we have been working with government organizations, and some of our learnings have been that I think they have massive amounts of data, which I think is across industries, and you can leverage them really better. But I think the way that companies and governments adopt artificial intelligence is kind of different from how private enterprises look at it. and you have a close eye view of that difference. So I wanted to see, Rami, if you can talk about how government organizations need to look at AI, and also for private enterprises, the way that they need to work with government is different from private enterprises. So if you can cover some of those nuances, that so that we can see more and more successful government initiatives and execution in AI that can impact large sects of the citizens and population, that'll be fantastic.
Thank you for such a fantastic question. Just to let you know that our government in Dubai and Abu Dhabi are faster than the private sector in terms of acceleration. So we always have our own acceleration hub to transform the right solution, and that's what we did just since yesterday in GITEX. We launched the first autonomous object that integrated with the policing department. We used extreme machine learning and meta learning, a sophisticated algorithm for national security. We launched many initiatives in terms of on a government level. Now, what we are looking for and what we are trying to do now with the world, we are trying to attract as much as we can a unique solution that will come with a real competitive advantage, because we believe that there is a gap between the real responsible AI and the normal initiatives in AI. And that's what we are trying to discuss in the Global AI Index. And I'm the only Arabic member in the Global AI Index. I'm trying to bridge the gap in this particular matter. On the same hand, we are working carefully and in a proper way to bridge a quick gap with Indian and with Knowledge Village companies in India, because we believe that we can work on the trial and error aspect to build the meta learning solutions. We are not looking only for responsible AI solutions. We are looking for a meta learning solution now, and that's what exactly drives us. And just a quick point that will emphasize on this point. For corporates and enterprises, we are trying to build a new indicators that will help them to identify their success, either in the market or in collaborating with the government entities. So we start talking about, instead of talking about the GDP using the virtual pillar, we start talking about the gross metaverse per product. Yeah, instead of talking about the GDP for big enterprises in the private sector, we start talking about the CAGR, compound annual growth rate. So, and that's exactly what we believe. This kind of harmony between solutions, between each and every industry and pillar, will take us into another level, as we believe that within the coming 3 years, we will be driving the great economy worldwide. And that's our main aim. We can see our reflection in the whole continent. And that's very clear when we are implementing the same methodology now on NEOM, and it's getting really good. Okay, and it's accelerating like never before. We are collaborating with the Israeli government to develop a framework of measuring the success. We call it measuring the comparative advantage. Now we are thinking to compete with Silicon Valley with the help of Knowledge Village in India. To be honest, yeah, there is nothing to hide here. You all know these things. And we start having some major implementations on industry. So we prioritize the industries. For example, the financial sector, one of the most important industry in Middle East now. We are trying to transform it using different tools, because we look into the technology as a tool that needs to be integratable to each other. So we don't want a solution that will come with AI only. No, we want to apply what we call it the cake theory. So we have the blockchain in the bottom. We are using direct data platform on the top, and that's what would take us into a new type of insight and wisdom. And then we'll put on top of it artificial intelligence. If we will be able to build such integrated solutions, and for each and every industry, starting from financial sector to other sectors. The second priority, I believe, gonna be the security sector, and then we're gonna go to the servicing. We will be able to build an exponentially growth economy through the harmony that we'll have between the government sector and the private sector. On the same hand, we look into such solutions and technologies as an opportunity for us to intervene or having an intervention strategy for different some other countries like Bahrain, Oman, Jordan, and Iraq. So if we'll be able to implement the same methodology, we have something like Gaia X project, which is the shared data and the process and technology infrastructure that's taking place now in Europe. It's a huge project, and it's implemented. Almost all the European EU countries trying to implement it, and that's what we're trying to imitate in the Middle East. If you allow me just to take another minute to talk about the opportunities for the companies. Now, when we are talking about the customer experience, or we call it the customer happiness, and all other aspects that came along with the Indian solution in particular, if we'll be able to integrate these two sides of the coins, we'll be able to have a new different level of a transformation. We call it the I transformation, intelligence transformation. So if you go to any organization in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Jordan, Neom, and you tell them, oh, I'll help you to accelerate your digital transformation, these people will not look to your solution, whatever it is. So you need to start talking about the intelligence transformation, and that's what we are trying to achieve through different aspects and pillar, and it's proven through our last indicators that we launched to the world, GMP, a gross metaverse product.
Fantastic. That's a very detailed and in-depth overview of what you are seeing at governments and Middle East projects, Rami. Thank you for that.
Thank you, sir.
My question now is to Siddharth. Siddharth, you have seen you've seen a lot of successes that how customers have adopted AI, but I'm 100% sure you have also seen not so successful implementations, organizations trying to use AI, but they're not getting the results that they want. From your lens, like what differentiated these two, so that I think our audience can learn from, what are the pitfalls to avoid while embarking on AI transformation journey, especially focused on interactions?
Yeah, no, very good question, Raghu. I think, many organizations make the mistake of jumping straight through to a digital solution, to an AI solution, without spending enough time on the business problem at hand. I think, whether we apply any kind of digital transformation, either to the customer experience journey or even internally within our organizations, in terms of improving the employee experience, we have a lot of application of AI from the time we recruit people to, managing their sort of employee feedback, finding any kind of trends from an employee attrition point of view. The entire employee life cycle, there's more and more AI today. I think it's important to put the customer or the employee, the human being, at the center of the transformation, really try and understand from their perspective, and then design our organizational processes, our business processes around that. So I think that really requires us to completely transform how we manage our end customers or how we kind of handle our employees, it requires us a deep reflection on the part of the organization in terms of their legacy business processes and tools and technologies that they use today, to be able to really transform and deploy AI, rather than jump straight through to the solution that, hey, we need this form of AI to be able to do digital recruitment more effectively. That's the mistake I see most organizations make. It's always important to spend time to try and reflect on the priorities, on the needs of the business and of the individual, and then accordingly design the solution. And at that, to that end, at TPE, our framework at Teleperformance is called TAP. T for technology, A for analytics, and P for process excellence. And we combine all of these three elements, to make sure that any digital intervention that we are deploying for our clients are successful, because it's important to combine the T or the digital solution aspect with the A or the data element aspect with the process aspect, and all three have to go together along with the human change management aspect. I think that's super critical as well, because in many cases, the technology is great, the technology is getting better and better, but unless you perfect the change management, it really impacts your success rate in terms of deploying AI.
Fantastic. That's absolutely insightful, Siddharth. Just summarizing the three answers, to build more trust, people need to know why things are happening the way they are happening. So explainable AI clearly is an answer to that, in how we are going to continuously improve the interactions. And while especially deploying with government institutions, I think the frameworks and the KPIs and stuff could be different. And I think organizations need to adopt and focus on that. And some of the important things that we need to keep in mind while implementing AI is about how it is driven from the potential business outcomes rather than digital and tech as an end by itself. These are some of the great learnings that we had with the panelists. I think we'll see if the audience has some questions, and I'm just going through the Q&A sheet so that I think we have the panel to answer them. One of the questions I have from Jayalakshmi is sentient AI a true reality of the future? And if yes, what can be its impact on businesses, customers, and stakeholders? So I'll open it up, and any one of you can take it and potentially answer this.
For sure, we're gonna reach this level in a way or another. But to reach this point and to achieve such optimal technology purpose, okay, we need to understand a few things. I like the TAP methodology. It's in a way or another a good business enabler, and I believe in it. But we take it to, in a way or another, to another level or the next level. So we need to consider, in order to reach such technologies or such technology purposes, we need to consider our strategy either for private sector or public sector. We need to have a clear business enablers to implement this technology, which will help us to accelerate the technology purpose and accelerate the transformation of any certain technology. And the best example for such a thing is the big data. We start with the BI, business intelligence, and then we move to the big data. Then we don't believe in big data anymore. We believe in smart big data. Then we don't believe in smart big data anymore. And now we are talking about the direct data platforms. So, and it's one of the good examples how we can use the enablers to improve and accelerate such technology. The third thing is the financing and infrastructure. This is the most important challenge, and I spend more than 3 hours only discussing this thing with Rockefeller Foundation. We need to have a proper infrastructure that will help Yellow.ai, will help Envision, will help each and every company here to accelerate the testing, that we call it the experimentation. Okay, having a proper infrastructure and financing, for sure, will help the organization to have different kind of experimentation, and that's what we're doing in the policing department, for example. The fourth one that we need to take into our consideration: procedure agility. And I have a concern here that we shouldn't count on a consultant or a subject matter expert to measure the weight of our procedure agility. The best judge in the world for such thing will be artificial intelligence. Okay, so if we'll use a proper readiness framework that will measure the procedure agility, these four pillars will take the technology into the next level and accelerate it to reach all these technology myths around the world, and will help us to achieve the results. All these factors will come into AI again, and AI will plan and drive three main aspects: the roadmap, the corrective action, and the prioritization of technology. Thanks a lot.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Rami. So I'll just touch base with Kruti if we are over time. And, these are fantastic conversations that we would love to have. And there are a lot more questions